Let's be honest, when it comes to buying a new car or a fighter jet, you want the flashiest one on the lot. For Canada, that was the American F-35, a stealthy, all-seeing marvel, sold as the future of air power. Ottawa signed up for 88 of these flying computers, convinced it was a done deal. But then the bill arrived, and it was a shocker. The original $19 billion price tag ballooned to nearly $28 billion, and with hangars, training, and missiles, the total threatened to hit $33 billion. Suddenly, the shiny new toy looked less appealing. Worse, the F-35 isn't something you truly own. The US controls the spare parts, software, and mission data. That means Canada would need American permission for repairs or secret missions. Hardly a symbol of sovereignty. Tensions with the US over tariffs only highlighted the risks of total dependency. Meanwhile, the air bases meant to house the jets, Cold Lake and Bagotville, were crumbling, with upgrades years behind schedule. The jets would arrive before the bases were ready, a logistical nightmare. It was like buying a Formula One car with nowhere to park but a muddy field. What started as a show of military might was quickly turning into a masterclass in poor planning. The government's confidence wavered. The F-35, once a symbol of power, now looked like a fiscal fantasy. The review was on. Canada faced a hard question. Stick with the F-35 or look for a smarter alternative? The answer would shape the future of Canadian air power. And the world was watching. Just as Canada's doubts grew, Sweden made its move. The Swedes, known for sensible cars and calm competence, launched an aggressive campaign to win Canada over. In November, King Carl XVI's, Gustaf and Queen Sylvia led a high-profile delegation to Ottawa, proof they meant business. Alongside them, Sweden's top ministers and over 60 business leaders. Their mission? Sell the Saab Gripen E, the underdog in Canada's original competition, as the smarter, more Canadian choice. Saab's CEO, Mikael Johansson, didn't just offer jets, he offered partnership. Saab proposed building a Gripen production line in Canada, in collaboration with Bombardier. This meant Canadian jobs, technology transfer, and a real stake in the project. Bombardier confirmed serious talks with Saab, promising a boost to Canada's aerospace industry. The Swedes weren't just selling jets, they were selling national pride and economic growth. It was a chess move, not checkers. The royal visit was just the opening gambit in a campaign to steal the world's biggest fighter jet contract from under the Pentagon's nose. Suddenly, Canada had a real choice. The Swedish offer was more than a sales pitch, it was a blueprint for partnership. The Gripen E, unlike the complex F-35, is a nimble, rugged jet built for endurance and adaptability. Saab promised full assembly in Canada and complete transfer of intellectual property. No secret codes, no American gatekeeping. Canada would control its own mission data, software, and upgrades. Saab also pledged to create aerospace research centers in Quebec, investing in Canada's tech future. The Gripen is designed for harsh environments, able to operate from short, icy runways and be serviced by small crews, perfect for Canada's vast, remote Arctic. By partnering with Bombardier, Saab would create thousands of high-skilled Canadian jobs. The jets could even be exported from Canada, including to Ukraine. This was more than a purchase. It was a chance for Canada to become a producer, not just a buyer. A capable, affordable jet, built and controlled by Canadians. The proposition was compelling. Side by side, the F-35 and Gripen E couldn't be more different. The F-35 is a heavyweight, stealthy, powerful, but astronomically expensive to buy and maintain. The real pain isn't the sticker price, it's the lifetime cost, fuel, maintenance, upgrades, and a small army of technicians. The Gripen E is the smart, cost-effective alternative, with total ownership costs about half that of the F-35. For the price of one F-35 fleet, Canada could operate 2 fleets of Gripens. The Gripen costs a third as much per flight hour, crucial for a country with vast territory to patrol. The F-35 stealth is impressive, but for Canada's daily missions, intercepting bombers, air policing, visibility is often an advantage. The Gripen isn't a true stealth fighter, but it's hard to spot and can jam enemy radar with advanced electronic warfare. The real question, is the F-35's edge in stealth worth double the cost and loss of control? The Gripen offers nearly the same capability at half the price, with domestic production and technological independence. For Canada's needs, the numbers speak for themselves. The debate isn't just about which jet is better, it's about which is better for Canada, and the answer is becoming clear. The stakes couldn't be higher. As Canada debated, the Gripen was quietly winning over the world. Air forces seeking value and independence were lining up for Saab's jet. The biggest endorsement came from Ukraine, which signed a deal for up to 150 Gripen Es in 2025. Ukraine needed a jet that was easy to maintain, could operate from rough airfields, and wouldn't break the bank. They chose the Gripen. A Canadian production line could help fulfill this massive order, adding strategic weight to Ottawa's decision. Thailand and Colombia also picked the Gripen to modernize their fleets. Each new sale proved the Gripen wasn't a risky bet, but a rising global contender. More users mean lower costs and shared upgrades for everyone, including Canada. The Gripen was no longer the underdog. For Ottawa, the Swedish offer looked smarter by the day. As debate raged, a new idea gained traction. Why not buy both? A mixed fleet isn't radical. Most G7 nations operate more than one type of fighter. Canada could reduce its F-35 order, buying just enough for high-end missions with NATO and the US. These stealth jets would be reserved for coalition warfare and the most demanding scenarios. Meanwhile, a larger fleet of Canadian-built Gripens would handle daily patrols, Arctic sovereignty, and NORAD duties. Lower operating costs mean more flying hours and better coverage. This approach would expand Canada's fighter fleet, boost jobs, and maintain interoperability with allies. It's a pragmatic solution, high-end stealth when needed, cost-effective reliability for everyday defense. The mixed fleet would give Canada the best of both worlds. No single jet can do it all, especially in a country as vast as Canada. The idea was quickly becoming Ottawa's most talked-about option. It balanced capability, cost, and sovereignty. And it just might solve Canada's fighter dilemma. The final decision is about more than planes. It's about Canada's future, industry, and independence. If Canada chooses the Gripen, or a mixed fleet, the shockwaves will hit hardest in the Pentagon. For decades, the US assumed Canada would always buy American. The F-35 was meant to lock allies into a US-controlled system for decades. A Canadian shift to the Gripen would prove that lock can be picked. It would show other allies there are credible alternatives, without the costs and strings of US hardware. The choice is stark deeper integration with the US, or self-reliance and domestic industry. Saab's bid even includes Canadian-made surveillance planes, strengthening the case for a full Swedish package. This is Canada's chance to break the cycle of delays and indecision. The world, and Washington, is watching. The decision will define Canada's Air Force and its place in the world for generations.